Hey guys, today I'm back. My name's Cass if you haven't been here before. Today I'm painting some watercolour Pokemon, all stacked up on top of one another in a little cute little totem pole. I really wanted to get back into colourful, bright stuff after spending so long of just doing graphite drawings. So with the release of Pokopia and all of the Pokemon 30th anniversary going around, I decided that Pokemon was a great place to start. First off, I put this little design together. I used the Fat Pikachu shaping, which is what we originally grew up with. We got an Oddish stacked on top of him and then a Caterpie on the top. I kind of feel like Pikachu looks like a big plush himself. So I guess if you imagine that they're plushies stacked on top of each other, that's a good way of looking at it. I wanted to do this in a watercolour style, kind of reminiscent of Ken Sugimori's artwork of the original designs. Obviously, this style is not the same style that he used, but I think the original watercolours, they just looked so cool. It was so different for what was kind of around then, and yeah, I just wanted to pay homage to it. So you can see I'm adding the shadows in now. I'm using the complementary colours on the colour wheel, so it's the other side of the colour wheel from what their colours actually are. So for Pikachu, we're using purple when his natural colour is yellow. For Oddish, we're using yellow. He's meant to be, a purpley blue. And Caterpie's green, so I'm putting in like a light red there. And that way when I do put my actual colours over the top, it's going to create a natural shadow without it being too overbearing. Looking back from it now, I might have done Caterpie's colour shadows maybe more of a pink. I think the red was probably a little bit too strong. It does look quite light here, but with his colour of green that he is, it was probably a little bit too dark. But you'll see as we go, it does all work out and does create a nice shadow. But yeah, I think next time I would go back in with a pink rather than a red. So for my brand of watercolour, I'm using the Kuretake Gansai Tambi. And these are a Japanese watercolour. They don't really bloom like regular watercolours. They just create a nice, slightly opaque colour on the top. As for my brushes, I'm using my Famui brushes. I got them off of Amazon, I think about a year ago, and they've actually been pretty good. I got them before Famui became really big and popular, so I did get them for a really good price when I got them. And as for my outlines, I did that with the Kuretake Zig fine liner. It is completely waterproof, so I did line my drawing first. That way I wouldn't lose where I was at. And yeah, I had no problem with bleeding. I do go back in at the end and outline a little bit further to create some extra shadows in some spots. So I would love to know how many people have played the new Pokopia. I've finished the storyline, really enjoyed it. Kind of knew what I was getting beforehand because I did play Dragon Quest Builders a few years back, and that was really good. So I was super excited with Pokopia coming out. Yeah, I finished it really fast, so I'm a bit sad that it's finished now, but I do have a world going, building up some extra stuff. But without the quests, I kind of lose a little bit of interest. So I was a bit sad that I finished the quest really fast. But now I've got Leaf Green downloaded on my Switch too, and I'm going to be getting back into that, which I don't think I have played for a very long time, at least 15 years, I'm not too sure, but it was one of my favourites. Of course, been a re-release of an original release, just with some upgrades. Super excited to play it again. It's definitely going to use up a little bit more of my time. But yeah, if you have played Pocopia, let me know. Let me know what you think. I know some people have expressed they were a bit disappointed that we weren't getting a mainline Pokemon game, but I think it was a great change. And the mainline Pokemon games, I haven't loved as much. I wish they'd really go back to more of their chibi pixel style with their artwork. I really don't like the artwork that they've been using since Sun and Moon, I think. Personal preference. I know some people like the upgrade, but I always prefer the little kind of pixel version of the people and the Pokemon, and I just think it looked so much cuter than this art style that they're going with now. But yeah, let me know what you think. So before I did this particular painting, I did do a prep painting beforehand, same layout of the Pokemon and everything, same design, but I used a different watercolor paper, and I knew from the get-go I shouldn't have used that one because it's a cheaper one, and it basically just created a pooling of the watercolor in certain spots, and it doesn't spread. So I finished that one. I thought, oh well, at least I've got my colors down, and I can just kind of make this painting fairly easily from that. But when I got through to this, I did make a couple of changes with the shadow work and extra bits that I kind of added in. My outline I changed a little bit, and I changed the placement of Caterpie a little bit to sit a little bit more in the middle of Oddish's head, and I think that was for the best. So I did actually like that I had to restart, because it did make me do some changes to my original picture that I think in the end made it turn out better. So I think by now you can see how my shadows are working in. I'm adding like extra little shadow pieces in, but by using that complementary color, it's a really nice subtleness. And what I did do, so I did my complementary color, I then put my base color on the top, and then I enhanced that complementary color with the color just to the side of it. I can't think of what we call that. Anyway, you know what I mean. So for Pikachu, the complementary color was purple, the base color was yellow, and then I did enhance it with some orange, and it did create such a beautiful subtle shadow, not too overpowering. It creates a really nice gradient. My watercolor paper did really well at giving it a very smooth gradient, so I'm very happy with that. I think I would like to do another one of these with a different 3 Pokemon. Not too sure. If you've got any ideas, let me know. Might be something that I come up with in a future video. I just do really like mainly the design of my Pikachu in this one. I think he's really cute, and he's kind of a bit doofy as well. So I don't know if you noticed, but all of my Pokemon's eyes are different sizes, and I just thought it looked looked a bit quirky, quirky and cute. So I was a little bit worried about doing the black details before I was fully finished with the rest of the painting, because you know, you have that risk that it's going to bleed through the rest of it. But I was pretty much sure that I wasn't going to have to do anything near Pikachu's eyes or ears from here. So while everything else was kind of dry, and I did go in and get those done, and yeah, thankfully they didn't cause any further issue to the rest of the painting, because I would have been very upset with that happening, because I was very happy with how it was going now. And as I finish off this eye, you can see he really kind of comes to life, and he really looks cute, and it does kind of enhance that he looks more like a plush toy rather than a living Pokemon, and I do really like that. I had also decided here that Oddish was too light, and I needed to make him more of a deep purple blue color. So I go back through and I darken all of that shadow area down to make him a fair bit darker, with the only bit where the light is I guess where the light would be shining down onto him. So you'll kind of see me go through and enhance that in a minute. Now, I always get worried when I get to the lining bit, because when you come to lining at the end, everything else is done. It could be your hand slips, your hand shakes, and you just create a blotch of black somewhere. So I get really nervous while I do it. And I think that's also a little bit as to why I like to use the fine liner at the beginning, because if I only stuff up when I'm just kind of starting the picture, I don't feel so bad going, oh, well, I stuffed that one up, throw that in the bin. But if I mess it up when I'm right at the end here, and you know, it's literally the finishing touches, it would absolutely ruin my day. So this was just little touch-ups on certain bits, and I did have a slightly thicker fine liner, which I don't actually know what size it was, but I know my smaller size was a 0.05, and having that such a little fine liner did really help, because if you do go slightly out of spot, you can do another layer over the top of it without it ruining your picture, basically. Now, I am coming up to the end now. I do really hope that you like my Pikachu Oddish Caterpie totem pole. Please let me know what you think. If you'd like me to do another one of these, let me know. Give me some ideas of some Pokemon you'd like to see. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do for my next video at this point. So it's going to be a surprise for all of us. But yeah, I do hope to see you again, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you.